I used to love Halloween. The costumes, the haunted houses, the thrill of pretending to be scared. It was fun. Harmless fun. But after last year, I don't even like hearing the word anymore. Because what happened in Salem wasn't a story. It wasn't a prank. It was real. And I wish to God I never went there. Last October, some friends and I decided to spend Halloween weekend in Salem, Massachusetts. It felt like the perfect getaway. A short drive from Boston, a chance to soak in the famous witch trial history and get a little freaked out in the most haunted town in America. There were 4 of us: me, Dylan, Marcus, and Jess. We'd known each other since freshman year. Dylan was the adventurous one. Always the guy who wanted to explore abandoned buildings or mess with Ouija boards. Marcus was more the skeptic, always laughing it off. Jess was cautious, but easily convinced. And me? I just went along with whatever seemed fun at the time. When we got to Salem, the whole place was alive with people. The streets were glowing orange under the light of jack-o'-lanterns. There were fake cobwebs hanging from lampposts, costumed street performers, food vendors, ghost tours, the works. The smell of pumpkin spice and burning candles hung in the air. It didn't feel creepy at all. It felt festive. We did the usual tourist stuff: witch trial reenactments, haunted house tours, overpriced ghost-themed souvenirs. Everything about it felt theatrical, commercial, safe. But late that night, when most of the crowds had thinned, Dylan said something that changed everything. He'd heard about a place just outside town, Gallows Hill Cemetery. According to him, it was one of the spots where the accused witches were executed, even though the official memorial was elsewhere. Locals supposedly avoided it, claiming the ground was cursed. He said it like it was an adventure, a real ghost story, not the kind people paid for downtown. Marcus joked that it was probably just an overgrown patch of land. Jess didn't want to go, but Dylan pushed. He said it would make the perfect Halloween story to tell. And for some stupid reason, I agreed. We drove up there just before midnight. The air had that biting chill only New England gets in late October. The road turned from paved to gravel, then to dirt, winding through the trees until we saw the rusted gate. Gallows Hill Cemetery wasn't much to look at. A small plot surrounded by dead trees, crooked tombstones, and a single stone monument that had cracked down the middle. A thin fog clung to the ground, and the moon hung pale above it all. It was quiet, unnaturally quiet. Marcus switched on his phone flashlight, cutting a beam through the fog. Jess held onto his arm. Dylan was grinning. He pulled out a folded piece of paper, something he'd printed from the internet. He said it was an old Puritan chant that could summon one of the condemned. He found it on a Reddit thread about Salem folklore. According to the post, if you read it 3 times over an unmarked grave, the spirit of the wronged would answer. It was ridiculous, but we were 4 college kids on Halloween night, standing in a graveyard. Of course, we were going to do it. Dylan began to read the chant. His voice echoed strangely, even though there was no wind. The words were a mix of English and something older. Hard consonants, biblical phrases twisted into curses. When he said it the second time, I started feeling uneasy. The air seemed heavier. The crickets had stopped chirping. Even the trees seemed still. Before he could start the 3rd recitation, I told him to stop. But Dylan laughed and said it anyway. That's when the air changed. It wasn't dramatic, just different. A subtle shift, like the temperature dropped 10 degrees in an instant. The smell of smoke hit me. Faint, but sharp like burning wood and hair. Then something cracked. A loud snap, like a branch breaking somewhere in the dark. Marcus swung his light around, but there was nothing there. Just fog and tombstones. The ground beneath us felt soft, like the earth itself was breathing. Jess whispered that she wanted to leave. I was about to agree when Dylan's flashlight started flickering. He cursed under his breath and smacked it, trying to fix the beam. And in that brief pulse of light, something appeared. A figure. Standing at the far edge of the cemetery. She looked like she'd been standing there the whole time, but I swear she wasn't there before. She was wearing an old tattered dress that dragged along the ground, her long gray hair hanging like seaweed over her face. Her head was tilted slightly to one side. I thought it was just someone in costume at first. Maybe another group messing with us. But there was something wrong with the way she stood. Too still. Too rigid. And when I looked down, her feet weren't touching the ground. The fog swirled around her, but she didn't move. Dylan took a step forward. He tried to say something, probably a joke, but his voice broke halfway through, and that's when I heard it. Whispering. It wasn't coming from her. It was everywhere. Around us, above us, below us. Dozens of voices murmuring at once, speaking in a language I didn't understand. Old, broken words that sounded like angry prayers. One voice rose above the rest. It was dry, rasping, and filled with venom. They watched me burn. Now they will burn. The fog thickened. I couldn't see the tombstones anymore. Just her. That floating figure, gliding closer. Marcus grabbed Jess's hand and ran. I turned to follow, but Dylan didn't move. He was frozen, flashlight trembling in his hand. When the light flickered again, she was right in front of him. I saw her face for a split second. Pale, stretched too thin, eyes completely black, mouth twisted in a scream that didn't make a sound. Her skin looked burned, cracked. The flashlight hit the ground. Dylan's scream tore through the fog. I ran. I don't even remember making the decision to. I just did. My chest hurt, my legs burned, but I didn't stop. The whispering followed us, layered voices chasing through the trees. Every time I looked back, I saw her, floating, watching. When we finally reached the car, the headlights flickered to life on their own. The doors were already unlocked. None of us had done that. Marcus slammed the locks down, started the engine, and we tore down the dirt road. No one spoke. Jess was crying, shaking uncontrollably. Marcus kept glancing at the rearview mirror. And when I finally looked back, she was standing in the middle of the road, still as stone, hair drifting in the wind that wasn't there. Her head tilted again as we sped away. We made it back to the hotel around 2 a.m. No one said a word. Dylan was pale, silent, staring at his hands. By morning, he was gone. His things were still in the room, his phone, his bag, his keys, but he was gone. We searched the area, called his name for hours, even went back to the cemetery in daylight. Nothing, not even footprints. The police said he probably wandered off, maybe fell into the water, maybe hitched a ride. They said that kind of thing happens during festivals. But I know that isn't what happened, because that night, after the police left, I woke up to the sound of whispering outside the hotel window. It was faint, like someone whispering through glass. I pulled the curtain aside, and my breath caught in my throat. There was a handprint on the window, long fingers smeared in black ash, and beneath it, drawn with a single streak, was a word. Burn. The next morning, the handprint was gone, but the smell of smoke lingered. A year has passed. Jess refuses to talk about it. Marcus dropped out of school, moved back home, and doesn't respond to messages. And me? I can't forget. Every October, it starts again. The dreams, the whispering, that smell of burning wood. Sometimes I wake up and swear I can hear footsteps outside my door. Sometimes I catch a reflection in a dark window. A shadow that doesn't belong. I used to love Halloween. Now I spend it inside, lights off, praying it passes quickly, because I know what's waiting out there in the fog. And I know if I ever hear her voice again, if I ever see her, I won't wake up this time. They say the witches of Salem never found peace. I think one of them found me.
If you enjoyed today's story, don't forget to drop a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and hit subscribe for more creepy tales like this. Your support keeps the stories coming and the nightmares alive.